And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are all doing well. And this is the Whole Agenda Radio Show, broadcasting to you live on Revolution Radio. And I have had a good week. I hope you've all been well. And I've got to apologize right off the bat here from the get-go starting this evening, okay? I screwed up on the time itself. And hold on one second, folks. We're going to do a real quick reversal here, and we're going to get everything settled up real quick. Alma, just hold on for me. We're going to take care of it.
Okay, folks, this is a Mad Painter, and Robert will be back in just a few minutes. We're going to try and get his guest, Alma, on. We'll get this thing working. He's having computer problems. So bear with us a minute. Let me go ahead and call his guest. He's getting his other computer up and running. Okay, you're going to hear me calling. Can't help that. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Alma?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
All right. I'm producing for Robert tonight. He's having a little bit of computer problems, and he'll be right here.
All right, then. I know I've been cut off a couple of times.
Well, he's changing computers, and I'm going to produce the show for him. So he'll be right back in just a minute. If you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience, you can.
Yes, I would like to just say a few words. Basically, my name is Alma Guthrie, but I'm now Mrs. Roehling, or Roehling, as it's pronounced. And I have a purpose in bringing forth transmissions to the human race because as a child, I had many visitations in Mexico since I was born in the late 1940s. My mother was the first one that saw and had the visitations from our cosmic brotherhoods when she was a school teacher in a very small town, a very rural town in Jalisco, Mexico. And she was in the schoolyard when the children playing outside called my mother, and she went outside, and they called them 3 plates that were flying in the air. My mother saw them. She received the contacts and communication telepathically. And they told her that they were watching the child in her womb, which was me, and that they would always be guiding and protecting me. So my mother was very much afraid in that small town to talk about this, so she kept it private until I was a child having prophetic dreams and visions. I would tell my mother all that I would be seeing, and she understood everything. But she was never able to explain everything to me until I was a young adult. And she told me that I had been born different and that my cosmic guides were the ones with her that saved her life, and that my purpose was to speak about them. So that's what I have been doing all my life.
Well, we've been joined back by Robert, the host.
Are we back?
Alma, we are back. I am so sorry about this. I was having a problem with my PC, and when I called you earlier, I kept saying hello, 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 and I could hear you in the background, but there was no volume coming through my microphone, and I don't know why. And Hawk actually helped me set it up, so I don't know what was going on, and I really started to panic. And Painter, that's when I got a hold of you, and I want to thank you for that so very, very much for helping me out tonight, my friend. I truly appreciate that.
My pleasure, anytime.
So, Alma, I have to apologize. And look, I need to apologize to everybody listening in. I messed up the time schedule, and because I forgot that everything was Eastern time, the painter, I forgot everything that it was supposed to be Eastern time. It's 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, and I put 10 to 12 p.m. Pacific time, which should have also read Eastern time. So, Alma, I have to apologize to you, my dear. It is my fault, and I promise you that will never happen again. I am so, so sorry about that.
You'll probably have a lot of listeners complaining about it, especially the hundreds that we made promotions on.
I know, and I will apologize to them personally, and I'll put it up on the website. I promise you, I will apologize to them. It is my fault because I'm the one who got confused. But I know you were explaining to everybody about your background, who you are, how you were gifted with this incredible foresight, this incredible insight that you received as a child, and please continue with that. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I just want just a brief background so your listeners will understand where I'm coming from. I had no idea what spiritual guides were, or cosmic guides, or crystals, or energy, nothing. I was going to San Diego State University after I was married, wanting to get a teaching degree, when one of my aunts came to visit, and she was very metaphysical and spiritual and had a lot of knowledge. She was the one that introduced me to this field of knowledge, esoteric meditation, and it began with my first meditation. I did not even know. I'd never tried it before. And when that occurred was in 1987, my very first meditation. I was living here in San Diego in a home shared with two other cousins of mine, my husband and my daughter, was 12 years old at that time. And I did, and I went through my first meditative state. And I could not meditate, but I wanted to be respectful of everyone there who was trying to meditate. So I closed my eyes and tried to concentrate on what my aunt was guiding us through the meditation. I had a poodle at that time who kept bothering me and licking my palms of my hands, so that made it doubly hard for me to meditate. But I kept my patience, allowing everyone to rest, because I didn't think it was going to work on me. And all of a sudden, my pet poodle was no longer licking my palms of my hands. And I opened one eye, and I saw that he was sleeping in the palm of my hands. So I said, well, if this meditation worked for my pet, then it may just work for me, and I'll try to relax and listen to her. So I closed my eyes and listened to the guided meditation from my aunt. And from that moment on, when I started listening to her, that's when the energy came to me. It started like an electrical, strong vibrational frequency from the bottom of my toes. And it started moving slowly up my legs, all the way up my body, my arms, my neck. As soon as the energy was on my neck, I felt it starting to leave my body. And it started to leave through the back to the nape area. The energy started coming out, and I could feel it, and I felt it was my spirit that was leaving my body. And before my spirit left my body completely, there was no breaking point. I felt another energy coming through. It's like my spirit left, but as soon as it took and left my body, the other energy kind of connected without any breakage of energy, connected and went in my body. Very slowly from the back of my head all the way to my neck, my arms, my body, down my legs. And as soon as it reached the tip of my toes, all I can explain to the audience is it's the most beautiful and warm and unconditional, loving feeling, surrounding yourself with light and peace that I've never known before or experienced. It's a life of unconditional love that I didn't want to come out of. It's like being one with everything. One with everything there is. And all of a sudden there was this beautiful sun in my third eye, my forehead, but I didn't know the term third eye, so it was in my forehead. There was this beautiful radiant sun, the sun that you look outside in the daytime, that type of a sun that blinds you with your eyes. But inside this third eye, the sun inside, was so bright, a brilliant white light, that I could see through it. And I was going into that radiant sun. Personally, my spiritual self was traveling and going into that sun when this image appeared. And the image that appeared was a vibrational image, like a frequency that I can describe like, oh my gosh, the programs that came on, like vibrations that your molecules break up and then they reform themselves to form a figure, like in Star Trek, whether they wanted to beam down to Earth or beam back up. And that's how this vibrational frequency of the atoms or whatever were coming together, and they formed this figure of a beautiful man with the image of a human. And he said to me, he said, I am Juno, and I am your spiritual guide, and I will be with you always, always. Then, immediately after he said that, next to him appeared another vibration of atoms and molecules that started to form, and it formed another image, another figure, and that was female. And the female said to me, I am your spiritual guide, Dalia, and you may call upon me when you need me. They made a distinction between one and the other. Juno would always be with me, always. She would be with me only when I needed to call upon her. So I thought this was a dream, that I was dreaming all of this. And all of a sudden, they started to disappear until they were gone. Then the sun became dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, and I saw myself leaving that light. And after that, then the energy in my body started to activate again from the tip of my toes. Again, it started coming up all the way up my body until it reached the back of my neck, the nape area. And as it started going out, I didn't even want, to go out. That feeling was beautiful. I wanted to stay in that feeling, but I thought it was a dream. So when that energy came out, the other energy came in without any breakage from the same area. And when the energy reached the tip of my toes, I regained my hearing. Because all this time, nothing existed, but only this unconditional love and light that was in me. And I didn't want to come out of it. But when this new energy came to me, it was me. It was my spirit. So my hearing was regained, and I could hear my aunt counting numbers. And she said, by the time I count to 1, I will snap my fingers and everybody will wake up. So I thought to myself, my God, what did I miss? This is it. So I heard that, and she counted to 1, snapped her finger, and boom, I woke up. I opened my eyes. I saw everybody around there. We were on the carpet in a lotus position meditating. And she asked if anybody had experienced anything special. Now, I thought this was a beautiful dream. So everybody raised their hands, and most of them said they only could relax. Others said that it was very peaceful. Others said they tried to follow as best as they could. They all had difficulty. And she asked me, and I said, well, I felt this and that, and then a beautiful light appeared, and then I saw this figure appeared of a man, and then of a woman, and then immediately her eyes just popped out, and she said, did they give you their names? And I said, yeah. So one said he was Juno, and the other one is Dahlia. She almost passed out. She almost passed out. She said, do you know what that is? Do you know who they are? And I said, no. I go, isn't it a beautiful dream? I felt that peace. I felt that oneness with this light and unconditional love. She said, no, no, no. She said, I've been waiting all my life to have such an experience. And you got it just right now? I go, yeah. It's a dream. I contacted, two beings. She said, they're your spiritual guides. I had never heard that term before, spiritual guides. I said, what are they? Oh, she says, I'm going to come next week and bring some psychics from El Toro, and we're going to explain all these things to you. But it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but I have to have you test it. So it began with many series of testing by psychics that were coming to me. And they were all shocked at what was occurring to me. And this is brief. From that moment on, it went into automatic writing. Then it went into falling asleep and going into trance states where they would speak until they started recording everything that came through since 1987. And the automatic writing took me by surprise completely. So information started coming through automatic writing. And psychometry, clairaudiently, everything within our own personal psychic abilities that we all have were manifested in me within a period of less than 6 months. And the purpose was given to me of why I had been activated. And with this activation, everything that I had come to Earth to fulfill was being done within those 6 months. I was receiving instructions, transmissions, the gifts of spirit of everything. And within that year, it was my year of preparation. And then later on, I went public in Vegas, and here in San Diego. And I did many other things, and in Mexico, and private settings, private groups. And all was private because the universe said that I would go public when the time was right.
Alma, can I ask you something? How did
Yes.
people accept this when you went public? What was their reaction?
Well, first of all, my family is the first one because Juno said, begin with your family. That was the hardest. And he told me, as you bring this information, our transmissions to them, know that you will lose your family and you will be alone. For this path is full of sacrifices, and it's your free will if you wish to continue. But know that we are with you, even though your family may leave you. So it was a very hard choice for me to make, knowing that if I gave this information to my family, I'd be left alone. So I had that choice, and I chose to give it to my family. So automatically, my family being from a Catholic background, when they saw me going into trance states and all these messages and transmissions coming through, they didn't understand it. They didn't have any knowledge. So their first impression was that I was possessed. And it was difficult because later on they did turn their back on me. They could not understand how I could contact cosmic brotherhoods and still be spiritually connected to whom they called our cosmic Christ, our brother, our Savior, who came to earth as a cosmic being of superior unconditional love and wisdom and accumulation of all that is of benevolence. So for them it was very difficult to accept the spiritual connection I was making and associating this with cosmic brotherhood spacecrafts. This was beyond science fiction for them. So automatically they believed that this would be coming from Lucifer. So then I was basically cast aside as a black sheep, as the one that was being misled and possessed by lower inferior spirits of the lower worlds. And I knew that what I was receiving was full of love and light and wisdom. So later on, as people knew about what was happening to me, I was having more people coming, forming many groups, and all these people understood what was happening to me. So I lost one family, but I gained other families of spirituality and understanding and of support. And I even accepted 2 types of exorcisms done by 2 priests. And when you have nothing to fear, I had nothing to fear. I allowed myself to be placed at their hands to do a ritual.
Well,
to take a...
Alma, I wanted to ask you this. I mean, you had nothing to fear because you were a young girl when all this was happening. But
No, I was not a young girl.
Well, okay. But did a lot of people try and put fear into you as this was all happening?
Did they try to put fear into me?
Yes.
The ones that came and found out about what was happening to me, those were spiritual people that understood. The only ones that didn't understand were my family members, and they judged it as being possession.
Okay.
Or that I was contacted by the lower spirits.
I just wanted everybody to get a clearer picture of what you were saying, that's all.
Yeah, it was a difficult decision. Basically, my family turned their back on me. The only one that remained believing and accepting and knowing it was truth and benevolence and of love was my husband and my daughter, who was 12 years old, and one cousin, Lisa. That's all that was left. Everyone else turned away from me. And, of course, my mother. When she knew about it, she expected this. It was absolutely natural for my mother to understand what was happening to me. And going through the ritual of these exorcisms was not fearful at all. For me, it was going to sleep for 10 minutes. For me, it felt like 10 minutes. But when I woke up, it was like 2 hours long. And the priest apologized. He said he didn't understand it, but it was beautiful. It was benevolent, full of love and oneness and unity. And he said that a lot of the scripture that was even mentioned, they said that a lot of it was misinterpreted and that the priests were giving wrong information or misleading with what they were saying, and taught him several things of how to improve his sermons or his teachings so that people would understand. So he asked permission to use some of the information that he felt he could put it in his own way to interpret some of the scripture. And he said, there is no judgment on my part for everything that was done to ward off or take away the lower spirits from me. He says, nothing worked. He said, all that they did was bless me and take the scriptures and bless them, and it was all love and light and oneness and wisdom that he had never experienced, and it was beyond his comprehension. But definitely he understood it to be righteous and benevolent and good. So I went through my life not fearing anything anymore and understanding that the negative forces, really, they're also light. They have a spark of light within them. The negative forces, the Luciferian forces, they all have a spark of light within them. Unfortunately, the greater light within them went away because out of their own free will they chose to go away from the greater light. But there's still a spark of light even within them that out of their own free will one day they may choose to return back into the light. It is all free will. So they taught me to respect the dark forces and also to understand that everyone evolves within their own experiences, through their own return to earth to continue on where they left off until they learn certain lessons to grow spiritually, to advance. So you can call this a school ground, but you can also call it a school ground where you have to live in a very, very hard world with hard densities and malevolence and heavy energies that weigh you down because the light energies are ignored. It's easier for an individual to do wrong than it is for an individual to do right. It's easier for an individual to go and become immoral than it is to be morally just within your own life, within your own experiences. It's easier for an individual to take from others than to give service unto others. So this has been proven over and over through eons of time, and they are concerned about our spiritual evolution, not our material possessions, but our spiritual evolution. And they have always been here on earth in different forms. Humans walk among us, it said, and they're angels, but they walk in human forms, assisting, helping. And I'm sure everybody in your audience has had an experience, has heard of someone having an experience of meeting someone of an angelic nature or helping them and then they disappear. These are all true stories. They're here among us. There's also the Luciferian forces that walk among you. And you will feel them. If you're sensitive enough, you will know who they are. And there's also cosmic beings, brothers and sisters, of benevolent purposes on earth, walking among you in these physical bodies. And many who are sensitive will know who they are, the benevolent ones and malevolent ones. As above, so below. This is what the universe says. So why you call them extraterrestrials, they're always asking, when we ourselves here on Earth are extraterrestrials.
Just on this planet. Right. You're absolutely right, Alma. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. We're just
Yes.
extraterrestrials on this planet because they come visit here. We call them extraterrestrials. How about we
Yes.
are all just beings, a part of the universe? Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So really, we are no different than they are. And I'm talking about the benevolent ones, because those have all been, from the very beginning, my contacts, and that's why I'm here, to bring hope, to tell you you're not alone. They've always been among us. They've always been monitoring this planet. They've always been watching, and to really assist us in our spiritual evolution to move forward, and assisting us in our trials and tribulations. But in reality, whether you're black, brown, Caucasian, and of indigenous cultures, to them we are just one humanity. They don't see the differences in our cultures, our races, and religions. They see what we should see is one humanity, and not the separations that we have created on Earth, and all the separations because of our backgrounds, our color, our skin, our religious beliefs. What they say is, when we evolve spiritually, you will see greater truths, and you will understand why we cannot judge one from the other as being greater or lesser. Because at times, the human race, or as individuals, we are at a very high vibrational state of spiritual growth, but there are negative energies that are so strong, they pull you down. And some, when they pull you down, they're weak. So then they fall. Just like angels. Many angels here on earth fell to the lower powers, the lower forces. And they lost some of their powers because the negative forces on earth are heavy, are dense, and they will take many souls. There's many scriptures in all religions that say, the road to salvation is very narrow, and the road to perdition is so wide because most human beings will choose the easy way, and the easy way is the wide road. And what will happen is those that follow the wide road are going to fall off a cliff. The ones that go through the narrow path, they will go through all the trials and tribulations and see the light and achieve the oneness of who they are. And they will achieve in their evolution and becoming galactic citizens. We have to earn that. It's not easy. We have to earn that.
Well, Alma, there's no doubt this is a very tough road that we all chose to be here at this time. Whether we are new souls, whether we are old souls, we all chose to come here at this time for specific reasons. And I know that our brothers and sisters are up there here specifically at this time to help us through some very, very difficult situations that are going to follow here. There's no question about it. I mean, you and I have had this conversation many, many times.
Yes.
But the reality to all this is that, I mean, like you said earlier, and they have told us, we play both sides of the fence. We are on the light side, we are on the dark side, but I think in the eventuality of it all, we all return back home. Is that correct? To
Yes.
be part of the oneness?
Yes. If you understand it in a more simple way, even you go good and evil, malevolence and benevolence. Even within the Luciferian forces, as many understand, they too have light. Luz is light. Lucifer, being of greatness, of great power and of light and beauty, wanted greater light, greater than the ultimate, than the source. As he was given his own reign, he was given a reign over the human race. But free will has been given to the human race, as well as free will that exists throughout all sentient beings throughout the universe. So within this free will, we evolve. We make our choices. And if we make a choice that is not a very benevolent choice, we will reap what we have sown. If we make the right choices, then that is what we are going to reap at the end of each harvest. So this is the largest harvest that is upon us now. This is what they are waiting for, this harvest. How many is in the population of the world? How many souls will evolve into their next level? And there are so many cosmic races watching this because we are so important to them. We have within our genetic structure part of them. So they all have interest in us. We, within our own DNA structure, are part benevolent and part malevolent. It's in our genes. It is this harvest in this, the time that we're living in, that they're waiting for. Which way are we going to go as a species, as a human race? So this is where the light comes in from the universe, from our cosmic brothers and sisters, from the angelic realms, from the hierarchies, from the higher councils. They're all bringing in this truth of unconditional love and of forgiveness and of service unto others, of seeing one another as one race, not just one color or one person that just looks different because of their characteristics or their religion or their background. We see each other truly as who we are on the inside. We are human, and we are light beings because the light that is within us all comes from the source, and that's in each and every single one of us. Do you understand that, Robert?
I absolutely understand it. And I think a lot of people want to try and put everything in a neat little box, to try and have some conformative idea of what like black and white. This is black, this is white. But the reality is that there's all kinds of shades of gray in between, and it really comes down to finding your own path to that light, the eventuality of your own path, because I believe as you go down this road through many, many lifetimes, and folks, not just here on this planet, and I can attest to that because hopefully you will hear later on this evening from our brothers and sisters that we have all lived many lifetimes with many, many different races. Now, some of you could be just first time here on this planet, or like myself, who have come to this planet to specifically go through these events that we are going through right now, and to help others, just like yourself, Alma, and just like so many other people, which you are the vehicle for their word. And I am also their vehicle to try and spread their word as, these processes continue to unfold before us, correct?
Yes. When your audience understands that, if they are open-minded to what you're bringing forth through this broadcasting system and what I have really chosen when I came here to do, it's not easy doing what I do. I'm not just what they call channel or a channeler. They don't like this term for me. They call me a cosmic, universal, trans communicator. Because if I will give you an example. If you turn on your radio, you have many stations. Okay? Some channels or channelers, they only have one station or two. Or they contact one guide or a guide that represents many. I am a radio station that has AM FM and has all the radio stations in between. So this is a simplified way for them to explain this to me. And it's like an antenna. And being an antenna, I only see myself as a vehicle, an antenna for them, with the radio stations and all the stations in between. So universal would mean anyone from the hierarchies and the councils of light, from our masters, from the angelic realms, to my personal spiritual cosmic guides, to the spirit world of the higher spiritual souls that have evolved, like my past relatives who have passed on. They all contacted me because I'm this doorway or a window that they used to contact me. And I was able to bring their information to loved ones in our family so they would find their peace and evolve. So I assisted my own personal family. I could, in the past, assist others, but it became draining on my body. Too much energy was being used for my body. And I'm very sensitive to souls that pass on with suffering and pain, or murder victims, or children. I'm so sensitive that I feel their pain, and I felt what they went through. And my body could not handle this. So I was not able to continue being a channel, or what they call medium, for this purpose. My purpose was solely to bring this cosmic truth, that we're not alone on this earth. We have other cosmic brothers and sisters among us, and who monitor our planet, who never left us. Of course, we can't say that the ones that are monitoring this planet are the same ones. There are hundreds and thousands of different types of commanders from different solar systems, and their Star Wars would be one that they've always told me. You seen your Star Wars? They made Star Wars to bring much of the truth to humanity through these programs, Star Trek, Star Wars, and many other programs, and even Avatar. Many of these are truths behind these scenes. It's to awaken, enlighten, and bring some form of disclosure of this fact. And what it is in a subtle way, they are enlightening you that there's other life out there. And many look like us, but the unfortunate thing is that the majority that they portray on all these movies that they're making is monsters. And,
yeah, of course. It's absolutely
and all these terrible, horrible aliens that are coming to eat us and enslave us, and it is horrible. They're focusing on that because that's the fear factor.
Yeah, well,
they want you to have that fear factor. Don't fall for that. Just see them as movies and acknowledge that there's good. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. Truly, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
But it's definitely just entertainment, Alma. There's no question about it's just entertainment. Because you and I both know, and I think a lot of people know, that if our brothers and sisters, or any beings for that matter, wanted to come here and take this planet over, because they're so technologically advanced, they would have done it in a heartbeat. We would have never known it. No, we would have never known it was coming. So all you have to do is use simple logic and be realistic about what you're seeing on a screen compared to the reality of what things really are. Another thing, Robert, which I really want to change the view of most listeners, is everything that they see as an alien that's portrayed as a gray with the large eyes and the big head and little nose. And this is all that they really picture. And this is all that basically the human race, all the little race. This is not something that the universe approves of, because there's so much variety
in these races. Some do not look like us, but they're beautiful and benevolent and wise.
Yes.
Okay? So we cannot make a judgment because they look monstrous. Now, some look human like us, but they're evil. Evil in their doings and in their conquering of other world systems and using other life forms, to do that. So to be balanced, we must look at these alien races. If they look ugly, but their deeds speak louder than what they look like, and if their deeds are benevolent, then see them with light, with beauty.
And that is ignorance on our part, you see. That is our own ignorance right there. You specified it. That's our own ignorance because of what we've been led to believe by, people who want to keep the control. They want to keep the structure. They want you to be afraid of everything. And that's the reality because there is no fear. The only fear that you have is the fear that you make up within yourself. It's very, very simple. I agree with you, Alma.
Yeah, and look what happens here on Earth, Robert. I mean, look, we look at another race and we say that another race is inferior to us. Why? Because maybe they're from a third world country and they live under poverty, and we are in a better country and we have more material wealth, and you are afraid of them because you fear that they might steal from you, because they might do evil unto you or harm you.
Right.
We're
You feel that their poverty will infect you some way, which is just an absurdity. It's an absurdity because we're all human beings. Exactly.
Yes. Instead of having compassion for these ones and being of service, individually you can be of service unto someone else. Collectively you can be of service to someone else. The government can see these lower nations that need help. They should come together and assist them, not neglect them. And we as individuals see their needs. Instead of fearing, we should just alleviate some of their suffering. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And if we alleviate some else's suffering, whatever, if it's through medicine that they need, or food that they need, or water, or clothing, we should all have compassion for those that don't have it.
But that's the problem, because that's the way this humanity has created the situation on this planet. That's one of the biggest problems we have. Okay.
That's why they're watching.
And in my opinion, it needs to be eliminated because we are all equal in the sense that we are human beings. Now, granted, there are a lot of circumstances on this planet, okay, when it comes to where you come in. From what level do you come in from? Are you that malevolent type of being? Are you the benevolent type of being? Are you a taker or are you a giver? So there's a lot of things in that gray area that I said earlier, excuse me, that we have to consider. But on the overall, what you said is absolutely right there. We're all beings on this planet, and we should all have respect and caring for one another to a certain degree, a certain respect, unless, unless something else happens, which, of course, that is part of the universal makeup. It is part of the individual, is part of the higher conscious being of that individual. But what you said is absolutely correct. And I just want to say that Lorraine Fenton has just joined us, and I think Lorraine wanted to say hello to you as well, being on this program for the first time, Alma. Lorraine, hello.
Hi, everybody. I did. Hello, Alma. It's wonderful to hear your voice on Revolution Radio. I'm so happy you're here with Robert tonight. It's great. I haven't heard you since Whole Agenda Days about a month ago, so it's great to have you here.
I'm glad to spread the word, and this is what we all are doing. And I do suffer from severe high blood pressure, so really I try to maintain peace around me. I have
and I definitely gave you some high blood pressure tonight, didn't I?
Yes, you did, Robert.
And I am so sorry about that, my dear. I am so sorry. And again,
I
everybody,
managed.
real quick, everybody who is just joining us right now, who are thinking that the show is just starting, it was my fault. Look, it is my fault. I admit it 100%. I screwed up on the time. All times on this broadcast, okay, for Revolution Radio are Eastern. 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. On Pacific Time, we still are calculating it as Eastern 10 to midnight, and I hope I'm correct in saying that. Lorian?
Okay.
No, actually, Robert, it's 9 to 11 Pacific for you.
No,
And,
not for me. Not for me.
oh, that's right. You're in Arizona.
Not for
and,
me.
Yeah, aren't but
See, everybody's
aren't you
fixed
on
up.
Pacific?
See, I was totally confused, Lorian. I was totally confused.
Yeah, but aren't you the same time as me right
No.
now until daylight savings time?
Absolutely not. It's almost 11 o'clock for me. And welcome back, everybody, to Revolution Radio. This is the Whole Agenda Radio Show. I'm your host, and this is the second hour of the broadcast. And really quick, folks, if you can, please donate to the Revolution Radio. This is a 100% listener-sponsored broadcast, and every penny counts. Whatever you can donate would be tremendously appreciated to Revolution Radio to keep this broadcast going and all the hosts going. We're all here doing this because we want to do this, and it's important for us. Real quick, Lorian Fenton wants to throw out a few quick words about the UFO Congress, and then we are going right back to Alma, who she's preparing now in her channeling trance to speak to our brothers and sisters who will communicate with us and give us some very important information for the rest of this hour. Lorian, take it away.
Great. Hey, thanks, Robert. I really appreciate the time. Well, everyone, as you all know, I'm going to be at UFO Congress with Robert Pepino, I may add in, and we're going to be broadcasting live. I'm pretty sure Robert's going to do his show next Friday evening live from UFO Congress, which means we're going to have some amazing people on his show Friday evening. And I'm planning on broadcasting live from noon to 6 p.m. on Friday, and that is Arizona time, which I'm not even sure what time that is anymore now that Robert and I are totally confused. But whatever time it is, it will be noon their time to 6 p.m. their time, and also on Saturday from noon to 6 p.m. Their time live. Now, I don't usually do this, folks, and I really hate doing it, but I've run into a little bit of a problem. I don't have a place to stay anymore in Mesa with my cousin like I thought I did. So I'm kind of on the radio tonight, and I will be for the next few days, begging for donations so I can get a hotel room. I'm trying to get a Motel 6 about 10 or 12 miles away from the hotel where they're putting on the event, because I certainly can't ask for you guys to pay the $120-some-odd a night room fee that they're asking at the Radisson. Unless some of you are super wealthy and want to donate that to me, that would be wonderful. But all I'm trying to do is get a Motel 6 for the week. So if everybody would, if they feel like donating to me, and I'd really appreciate it if you would, because I really want to go on this road trip for Revolution Radio and do, our broadcasting live from the event as we've been known to do. You can go to my website, my personal website. It's LorianFenton.com. That's LORIEN Fenton, F as in Frank, ENTON.com, and I'll that room for everybody. So if you feel like donating, it would be wonderful, because I could sure use the help right now, folks. There just isn't any money left over for this trip to get a hotel room. So I'd appreciate it, and that way I won't have to be bunking at Robert's house and snoring in his ear.
Well, look, everybody, please, if you can help her out, please send the money, because I couldn't handle that. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
the house is always open to you here. If
I
you
know that. That's wonderful. The truth of the matter is, folks, though, that Robert lives way over on the east side of Phoenix, and I am not a good night driver, and it would just be horrible if I fell asleep behind the wheel trying to get back to the east side of Phoenix every evening. So, But I may end up doing it. We don't know. But with your help, maybe I'll have a nice room and a place to stay, and everything will be wonderful. So I know you guys are out there pitching for me. So thank you very much for doing that. And Robert, thank you for letting me come on the show tonight. But, one last thing, everybody. The discount price at UFO Congress has gone away, but I bet if you called and said you listen to Revolution Radio and you can get there, I bet you can still get that $219 price for the whole week. If you just say it's Revolution Radio and you really want to go, I'll bet they do something for you.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Lauren,
okay,
thank
folks,
you so
have
much,
a great
dear.
night.
All right, you take care of yourself. Now,
Thanks.
look,
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Everybody, for all of you who want to call in and ask any questions to our guides, our brothers and sisters, the number is 347-688-2902 to call in. And anybody who's on Skype who wishes to get brought in on Skype, please contact Matt Painter. He is producing the show this evening. Now let's see if Alma is ready and she's connected with our brothers and sisters who have been watching out for us. Alma, are you ready? Are all of you ready?
No. There's something that I needed to say to you that I was placed a request by my guide. This is how they want their transmissions to go on the air. Very specific instructions. As you know, certain energy is required for me to do this transmission.
Yes.
And they're very protective of that. And because they do want to answer the questions that will be coming from your audience, this is what they requested, that in the beginning, if you have to have like commercials, that they be in the beginning. And they wish then for me and you to commune, to talk briefly. Then they wish to bring their transmissions forward in the first hour. Then the second hour after your break, then that's when you'll have the time for questions and answers. So within the first hour, you have commercials, and then you and I can have a dialogue. Then I will prepare myself, and that information will come through. So it may be half an hour of channel transmissions within that hour, because part of that goes to commercials and our interaction, and then they will come through. And even if we go into the second hour of something that you're not finished with, after the commercial, then you can start the people asking questions, because I'll be under trance. And
Right.
It's like a radio. You can't cut the energy waves for too long.
Right.
Like my body can only hold it for so long.
Correct, Alma, and I totally know that and understand that. And tonight we wouldn't have had even a break at the top of the hour like we normally do. Usually, what I'll do when you're on is just go a continuous 2 hours. At least we will try and do that for the whole 2 hours when you're on with us. So I will try and do my part on that. Okay.
So then everyone will know that the first hour will be the transmission, and
Yes.
within the second hour, the ability for you to ask the questions, or if you have any audience questions. And briefly, I want to say to your audience members, I've been with the San Diego UFO Society since 1987 as a member, an active member. Then I became the assistant director 5 years ago. Now I am the director of the San Diego UFO Society, and William Roehling, my husband, who's called UFO Bill, and his Night Vision Sky Watches. He's with me as a co-director. We are starting a new Skywatch program, and we will be taking people out monthly. It's very important. We have also the Stargate 2012 and beyond meetup groups that meet once a month. And this is a very personal and very private group where you will receive personal and spiritual cosmic information. And then we have the San Diego UFO Society that meets every 2 months. And we have international speakers and some local speakers, which are the scientists, researchers, investigators, contactees, abductees, experiencers, etc. So we are very active within all these fields, and I've dedicated all my life to this. So if anyone wants to get a hold of us in any way, please, you can go to Stargate 2012 and beyond / and the San Diego UFO Society.com, or email me atma_est@yahoo.com. And please go to the whole agenda and look under the Towering Lighthouse of Babel, the radio series. And you will find the 12 or 13 transmissions from the year 2012. So this is the beginning now for the revolution, for the transmissions to be given now. So I will prepare myself because they will do this quickly. They have a lot of information, Rob,
I know
it may
they do.
be part 1. So we may have part 2 and the next one. Okay?
Exactly, because there's so many questions. I mean, there's so many questions.
I'm going to take about a minute or so and be ready. All right?
Okay, Alma.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to give her a minute or two to prepare, because usually she, it takes a while for her to prepare, but they're going to do this very quickly for her to bring the channel through very quickly so she can get out the information that is needed for all of you to hear. This is, guys, this is really, really, really important information. And like Alma said, go to my website, The Whole Agenda, and when you go there, just go to the Lighthouse of Babel series, click on the link, okay, and you will find all the transmissions that Alma and I have done together in the past. Quite extraordinary, quite prolific, prophetic information. You're going to find it extraordinary. And then, of course, this year now, what we are experiencing from last year is just a carryover. And I feel that what they have to offer is very, very important for each and every one of us. I mean, this can be taken as individual information for each and every one of us, no matter what phase of life we are in, whether you're a young adult, whether you're in midlife, whether you're an older adult. The reality is that if you take the information, absorb it, and look at it through your eyes, through your perspective in your own life, I think it can benefit each and every single one of us to prepare for whatever is to come, which I happen to think, right, what we're going through is we're going to go through quite an experience. It hasn't happened quite yet, but it's coming. I think Alma is ready. Are we ready?
Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready. Hello.
I am here. Brief. For there is not much time. Much time has been taken. You have what you are calling speaking commercials. We need to say to your audience, this is a time for all to look at the heavens. We are here. We are here. We are here. We have come before this year you call 2013. Our crafts are larger than some of your moons. We are called guardians, or many say the watchers. Don't misinterpret the watchers as being a malevolent force. No. The watchers, we are guardians, and we come from various solar systems, various commanders from many, many solar systems have volunteered to be here at this time for the human race to acknowledge that you are not alone, for you are now seeing new signs in your heavens that we have brought before you so you can witness the wonders of our powers, not only within your government structures, but as individuals and as a collective human race. What you have seen in the heavens, that you have now throughout your world witnessed in your Russian territories, within the heavens, were two events that were not programmed within your own linear time, but we assisted. Now many say that what you saw and experienced in the heavens was broken up, what you have called a meteor, that was broken up by a missile. All we can say to you, for those that say this, is, do you have such technology? Do you have such technology that goes beyond the speed of this meteoroid and passes it? And this breaking it up into pieces, swaying it away from your earth, which unfortunately causes some minor destructive events, causing fear and wreckage to some of your buildings, and unfortunately many humans suffered. But it is of minor consequences. As we had said before in our previous transmissions to you within your own programs, that this would occur, that what we have placed as the net of light around the tail of this massive body, we said that unfortunately one or two or three or various smaller objects, which may be of meteoroids or of a smaller moon, would get through. Our light shield was placed around the tail. In other words, imprison them in light. As a spider works and makes its web and catches its prey, and the prey cannot be released, so too we placed this web of light around the tail. But some of these are so mass and so heavy that some may sneak out, and those that do, we would, if it would cause great devastation, break up. But we welcome your technology and your missiles. We welcome your assistance, for if you all come together in these nations and leaders, together, and you see any destructive force approaching, then use it to save your planet and the human race. Yes, we welcome your technologies and weapons used for benevolent purposes, but not to be used for malevolent purposes and destruction and control and have power over other nations. For we come to assist. We come only to give the human race more more time to evolve and to make the right choices. For truly this year is a year of the harvest. Why? Because you have years that will be called tribulation. For not only is your sun out of balance with these emissions and the coronal masses that would, if they hit your earth, truly destroy over 1/3 of wherever it hits. But we have assisted in this way, for these have been released, but within our own ships and technology, we have reflected these flares and coronal masses back to its source, and the light that streamed to your planet was lesser. But yet it has been affecting your weather, your seasons, where they are off, they are unbalanced. As we said before in other transmissions, that you must all prepare for severe weather change. Now, where we said to be prepared was that the coldness would hit you suddenly, and the coldness would reach your bones. It is now that the human race must prepare themselves with warm clothing that will withstand very low temperatures, for it would come upon many of your nations, the states now in the United States, and other will follow in other countries, sudden weather changes that would catch all human beings off guard like a twinkle of an eyelash. So please, we say, and we give you our loving warning. We are not against the human race. We are all part of one another. We are only here to assist. We cannot take all that is to be, but we can assist. So you may all continue to evolve in a spiritual evolution to your next level. And those who wish not to evolve, we respect you. But if you lose your physical bodies, know that you will continue with the third density vibration. But all who are beyond the third vibrational frequency will evolve into the fourth and fifth frequency. These are necessary in order for your DNA activation to take place, so that human beings on this planet will then be allowed to use the gifts of spirit. Once these are awakened within you and you are responsible in using them for the betterment and your own personal evolution and assistance unto others. For truly you will become new human beings and one with us and be able to explore the universe as we have chosen to be guardians and monitor your world. Now, within these events that have transpired, we are sorry that there was pain and suffering, but it was at a minor scale, as we have said before. It was that they were unleashed. Some were very small, and they burned up in the atmosphere before they entered the earth. But know that there will be others that may be released from this web shield of light that has been placed around the tail of this massive body that is called by various names. Your Sumerians have called it Nibiru, you call it Planet X. Other hierarchies and planetary systems call this planetary body by other names. Whether it is inhabited or not, whether it's malevolent or not, is not of importance. What is of importance is that it passes by with less destruction, suffering, and death. So we are assisting, for we cannot take this away. But you will all go through these minor trials and tribulations, for we are giving you more time to make the right choices as individual souls, collectively, and as world leaders to come together. As your weather, you have now experienced this. Those that lived in your states where suddenly you were stranded with temperatures below what you are used to. Your bodies will not be able to withstand lower temperatures. So we say, prepare yourselves, your homes and your transportation with proper necessity to withstand this weather. We now will focus in areas that are hot. Beware and prepared, for truly it will be hotter. And you must prepare your physical bodies with more of your liquid substances. You must then find ways to find shelters that will withstand higher degrees of heat. We will assist by, as we said before, putting up our shields by the solar flares to reflect back that heat, the coronal mass rejection, back to the source. It still may receive some degrees of heat. In other changes that we will prepare you with is that in some nations where they never experienced in your deserts coldness or snow, your weather is so unbalanced that it will snow. In other areas where it is barren and has produced no fruit and life or plants, then you will see that these areas begin to produce life, fruit, and plants. There is an unbalanced energy within your four stations, and this is caused by your movement of your planet Earth in a core, center core change by the pressure it is receiving by other heavenly bodies that are affecting this Earth. Now, what we are doing is only assisting to make the pressure of your inner core of the Earth less and to balance. So we have placed these boxes throughout the world in your oceans and on your coastlines to balance the energies, preventing major Earth movements and cracking part of those fault lines that may then be so deep that would be released, and some may go into becoming islands. This we are trying to prevent, as well as your volcanic eruptions. Some may erupt to a minor degree, but not in a great degree, for our ships are entering them as well. They have seen them, and they are then photographed by your technology. These are living ships or liquefied ships. They have form, but they are of different material, substance that is of the same temperature and pressure as of that of the inner volcanoes. So we are able to monitor them from the greater motherships or megaships, as many have called us. There are various ways we are allowed to interfere, but only to assist, but not to take that lesson or that event from transpiring. As your nuclear weapons are now at a state where many nations wish to have technology and control of them, we will only say this: we will not allow more nations to acquire this technology. We will, if their intentions are to use them against another nation, we will then use some of our ships to dismantle them on the air or on the land or in your ocean. For we are given permission to do this, so it will not cause mass destruction, and others will then detonate and cause a chain reaction. There may be a small incident within a terrorist nation, for these unstable minds may acquire technology and may acquire a portion and build an instrument of destruction of a minor degree that could be used against another nation. And we would allow this to be. Why would you say this? Because the human race learns their lessons by experiencing them. Unfortunately, we wish you not to suffer, but through the ages and eons of time, the human race has not heeded our warning. As many of those who are masters came to give warning, many did not heed the warning. So we respect your wishes. If you play with these nuclear weapons, then you must be prepared to suffer the consequences. We will only assist when it is given permission by the higher council to assist and to interfere in some forms, so there will be less destruction and loss of life. But the world will not end, so fear not. Life continues. The planet continues, for you and I are one. You are genetically part of all that is. So we are no different than you, only more advanced within our own linear time of yours. But we, within our time, it is a different time frequency. So we are on different levels and of different dimensions. But you too, as a human race, as a species, will also evolve to the state that we are in. Did not your brother on earth say, why do you marvel at those things that I do that you call miracles? For you too will one day do greater miracles than I. That is the truth. That light being, that great master, was the greatest one that came to this planet. In his light essence of unconditional love and accumulated wisdom from all masters prior and after him. He had the accumulated wisdom from all the masters in one. So therefore, we honor him, and we have dedicated ourselves to be in service to him. He is our commander. Now, we say to you, our brother, that even though within your own programs as a host, you have gone through certain learning experiences of the different guides that have come through, and maybe perhaps some have told you that they want you to be a gentleman. We love you. There are ways for you to communicate to greater audiences, and you are doing well. We are proud of you. You will advance. You will advance with your gentle ways and gentle tones. You will advance with patience. You will advance with radiant love. And you will advance in the way that you give information unto others in simple forms, not complicated ways where most of your listeners would not understand. The average person on earth understands simplicity. As your brother walked this earth, who was called Jesus the Christ, Emmanuel, Joshua, now we say, he spoke with simplicity, and his doctrine, his mission, crossed the oceans, all planes of existence, and his doctrine has spread throughout the universe. So he did it with unconditional love, patience, and with simplicity, without any ego. All human beings, we ask, set aside your egos. For your egos, what they will do is they will blanket your light. Even though your light is bright, your egos will blanket that light and make your light dimmer. And if the blanket is too heavy, it will dim your light until your light shines no more. So we say it is utmost important to recognize when your ego is taking control and stop it. When you stop it, call forth the greater light from your own temple of light, and you will triumph over any obstacle in your life. You will triumph in making the right choices in your life. You will triumph against thy enemies, and you will see all human beings as brothers and sisters. Now, I know this may be hard for some of your listeners to understand, comprehend, or even believe in us and in what we are trying to bring forth to humanity. All we are here to do is just to warn you and to prepare you for the coming changes and for the violence that may erupt in the Middle East over weapons of mass destruction, and for the severe weather that will hit other nations as well, and for another economic crisis that may put some hardship on many souls on the planet. But it will be short, for all the nations' leaders will come together to resolve this, honor each nation, and come up with a solution and bring about new currencies of value that would be respected by all nations on this planet. Much needs to be said, my brother. We'll give you time for any questions, but we will continue in another time to finish this transmission. Is this acceptable?
Yes, it's very acceptable, and I understand clearly what you've said. And I love you as well because I've talked to you, all of you, many times. You have helped me understand a great deal of things. You've guided me in certain understandings of what things are, what things truly are, not the illusion, but the reality of things. And I thank you and I bless you for that information, and I bless you for bringing this information forward to everybody listening this evening. I apologize to you for the mix-up we had this evening on the broadcast, but that will be remedied next time we speak. I can promise you that. And because I know there's a lot of people listening, and I know there's people who want to call in and talk to all of you to get definitive answers for their own life or just in general. But you brought up earlier about the fact of the asteroid, and somebody was trying to tell me that it was taken down by a missile, and I said no, it wasn't. I said that was an explosion that took place in our atmosphere, and that's what you simply reinforced that. And I know that there's a great many deal of changes yet to come, and I've said this to this broadcast. I've said, there is no such thing as the end. The end does not exist. If we simply choose to leave this planet at this time, we will do so on our own behalf. If we choose to stay, either way, you have to go through the process, and you have to be enlightened as a higher conscious soul spirit, and you must go through the process of all evolutions, whether it's physical or spiritual. You have to go through the evolution in order to grow as a spirit being. So I understand clearly what you have said. I have no...
We wish to end with one thing which is of importance.
Yes.
The meteorite and your asteroid, one came from one direction, from the sun. So one came north to south, the other one from east to west. They crossed each other. And when they crossed each other, they formed a cross in the heavens. That cross in the heavens is not visible, for it is to be understood by all enlightened souls on this planet who will research this occurrence. They will understand that these formed the cross in the heavens, a Christed energy, for you are all Christed beings of light. I wish this to be understood. Do you have any questions for me before I leave?
Well, there's so many questions. I asked you about the asteroid, but more importantly, you brought up the fact of Nibiru, and you said it wasn't important whether life exists on that planet or not. But I think there's a lot of people who want to know if the inhabitants of that planet are still alive, or are they no longer alive in the physical sense on that planet.
It would make no difference to know for the human race. For if it is inhabited by giants who were on this earth, who took possession of who evolved on this planet as humans and who were taken as slaves, there are many, many scenarios. It's not just one. For there were malevolent races that came to this planet and benevolent ones, not just these giants. So we would say, even if these giants were on this planet, they would have no power. They could not then take over the human race, for you have now gone beyond the point of being controlled or enslaved. And they are quarantined by all the celestial councils of light, commanders with these mega ships larger than your moons. We are an army. We are the legions of light. And by being legions of light, we are the most powerful legions of light that protect this planet and are on guard if those that are on this planet have ill intentions. They have no power to pass through our shields. And they would have to move on or suffer the consequences as well. Is that understood?
Yes. So those are in our ancient past that now these giant skeletons have been discovered. They were of that planet. Is that correct?
You have much evidence on this earth of their existence. Humanity must search for their roots and for their origins. They will see dinosaurs existed. They will see these giants of males and females existed. They will find new discoveries within the pyramids left there for you to uncover of your true origin and existence. They will also realize that all that is of myth of your mythologies, Roman and Greek mythology, of these half-man, half-horse, and other human and animal forms that were genetic experiments. These existed as a mermaid. These existed. So the world, the earth, is older than your scientific minds have recorded. There have been many civilizations and many at greater advanced stages technologically, scientifically, than this that you are living in now. But what we are concerned about is your spiritual evolution, how much you have evolved in a benevolent way to truly become cosmic citizens of a benevolent nature and unite with us. This is free will. This is why you are so important to so many races. For you have within your own DNA part of us, benevolent and malevolent. It will be the time of harvest. So, within this planetary body, be not concerned. For if it is malevolent or benevolent, if it is benevolent, they wish not to cause you harm. So they will use all their technology to assist us to sway their world away from us. And if they are of malevolent intentions, then they will have to deal with us. Is this more understood?
It is well understood with me. I understand we are in very good hands, and I also know that what you've said, basically, the idea is that for us to go through the transformation, we must go through the events that are unfolding in front of us. And without the events folding in front of us, we would not progress. Correct?
This is the ascension. Many ascensions, not just one. You may ascend in physical body if you are worthy to ascend in your physical body. If your spiritual evolution is to be one with us now you would ascend in your physical body. Others who are enlightened but yet not ready may leave their physical bodies behind, but they ascend and they also become part of our own regions of light, of spirit, and evolve in other world systems. You have a choice. It is free will. Those who choose to stay within the dense world, within the lower vibrations, we respect. But many who choose this will have to continue on these experiences in other planetary systems. For if this world turns to the light of benevolence and of unity, as one human race and evolve spiritually, this whole planet would evolve into a higher octave of the 8th frequency, but the human race into the 4th and 5th, and some beyond 5th frequencies. So those within the lower frequency that chooses to stay can no longer survive within that frequency of the planet and the new human race. But they will continue on, but in another plane of existence, not within this planet. But if this planet chooses and the world leader chooses the lower vibration and are swayed by the Luciferian forces, which is also their right and their free will to do so, then you will all go down that wide road into the depths of destruction. There are many scenarios. Many. We are only here to assist the human race to make the wise decisions and to really look within your own souls deep down and know that you are light being and your temple is within you. Respect your houses of worship. And we say, it is not that we do not accept them. We are saying we accept the truth behind each and every one, for they do not have the absolute truth. They only have portions of the truth.
Yes.
But they do not house the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is within you. That is the light within you, the temple within you.
Yes, it is, Guardian. And I want to thank you very, very much for coming through this evening and speaking with us, and I look forward to speaking with you again on the next transmission, and I know that you will continue to bring us more information as things continue to transform and continue to enlighten us and help us be more spiritually enlightened to find the true path. I want to thank you.
Yes.
Bless you.
Water, 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 water. This vision has constantly been given unto her, this vehicle of our sister and one with us. She is one of us, but in this female form. But we say to her about these visions. She sees the water from the oceans rising and engulfing part of many of the coastlines of this nation and other nations. Yes. This is one aspect of these changes of your unbalanced weather and also of movements in your ocean floors. But the boxes that we have placed are placed there to balance these currents. But there may be incidents where this water will hit the coastlines and engulf some of them. Where it hits, we will not give you that statement now, for it is all energy. We work on the energy below your earth, and we work on the energy below your oceans, and we disperse the energies throughout your world. But the veins of this energy may erupt anywhere in any ocean and in any land parcel of any nation. So
Guardian,
be aware.
Thank you very much, Guardian. We have to go to the next show here. I want to thank you so very much, and I look forward to speaking with you again and again. Coming through Alma Guthrie, she is our cosmic telepathic transcommunicator, and we will continue to do these broadcasts. And I believe me, folks, next time this will be much different. And I have to apologize to everybody, for how it came together tonight. But I want to thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Friday right here on Revolution Radio. I'm your host, Robert Pepino.